Good morning, students. This is Asha, your social science teacher. Today, uh, we are going to do the third part of the chapter New Kings and Kingdom. So, let's do a quick recap what we studied in previous two lectures. We studied about the new dynasty, how they came into power and how they were sharing power. We studied about Rashtrakutas, and then we studied about sharing of power, administration in the kingdom, how it was done, how taxes were the main source of income, and how tax collection and army was done given to king's family only. And then we studied about prashastis, how they are the important source of information. Then yesterday's lecture we studied about how warfare for wealth was done. We studied how temples were storehouse of wealth. We studied about Ghazni, Muhammad Ghori and Chawan rulers. So today we'll start with rise of Chola dynasty. So minor chiefly family from Muttiar held power in Kaveri Delta. Chola dynasty flourished near Kaveri Delta. As in yesterday's lecture we studied about Kannauj, how it was so important because it was on the Ganga Valley. It was very fertile region. In the same way, Kaveri Delta region was very fertile. So Muttiar were minor chiefly family who was ruling that area, and Muttiar were subordinate to Pallava kings of Kanchipuram. Vijayalaya, who belonged to ancient chiefly family of Chola from Uraiyar. Vijayalaya was the one who laid the foundation of Chola dynasty. He was from Uraiyar. He captured the Kaveri Delta and laid the foundation of Chola dynasty. Vijayalaya built the town of Thanjavur and a temple of goddess Nishum Sinduri. As we studied, these kings resemble their power by building big forts and temples. And successors of Vijayalaya conquered neighboring regions and kingdom grew in size and power. In fact, Chola kingdom became so powerful that it was called Chola Mandala. You must have heard word Coromandel coast, so that is also to a great extent derived from this only. So these were the region where Chola dynasty ruled. Raja Raja I was the most powerful ruler of Chola dynasty. He became king in 985 and expanded control over other areas. Raja Raja I organized the administration of empire. He did a main framework for the administration, how from king to village level things should be managed. Raja Raja's son Rajendra I continued his father policies and raided Ganga Valley. We studied about tripartite struggle for Kannauj, Rashtrakutas, Gujarat Pratihara and Palas. Even Chola dynasty was involved in it, but in later part of the year, and they, in fact, Rajendra I conquered the Ganga Valley and took the title of Gangai Konda Chola, and he built a city called Gangai Konda Cholapuram. There is a legend or a story according to which in his city he built a huge tank. The city which he built was named Gangai Konda Cholapuram, and in that he built a huge tank and he brought water from Ganga Valley and filled that tank. That's a story about him. Rajendra I developed his navy and raided Sri Lanka and other Southeast Asian countries. So he empowered his navy very well and he attacked South Asian countries like Malaysia, Thailand and Cambodia. And you must have heard like Ramayana being played there, and you do see remnants of Hindu culture over there. So many historians says it's Rajendra I who raided South Asian country, and with him Hindu religion and with the Chola traders Hindu religion went over there. In fact, the biggest temple of Lord Rama or Vishnu is in Angkor Wat, which is in Thailand, not in India. So that's if we go back to history, we see that somewhere Rajendra Chola was responsible for all these developments which took place over there. Right. The next thing which we see in Chola time frame is big temples. Temples which were built by Chola dynasty rulers are splendid. Example of architecture. Big temples of Thanjavur and Gangaikonda Cholapuram built by Rajaraja and Rajendra are architectural sculpture and marvel. Chola temples were nuclei of settlements which grew around them. Nuclei of settlement, children, it means a center where a settlement developed, right? These were centers of craft production because it's a big temple. If nowadays also, if you go to a big temple, you will see a lot of business running around it. People are selling flowers or craft and different things, right? So they become center of attraction. So Chola temples were so huge that many other craft flourished along or near these temples. Temples were endowed with land by rulers as well as others. So the many rulers and rich family people used to give them land and donation. So whatever production was done from the land donated to them, that particular produce was used to maintain people who worked around the temple, like priest, garland maker, cook, sweeper, musician. There were so many people who were involved in these temples, like dancers, musicians, and whatever land grant which they got from rulers, produce from that land grant was used to maintain these people. In other words, we can say temples were not only places of worship, they were the hub of economic, social, and cultural life because so many activities grew around them that they became the hub of social and cultural and life. Now, bronze images. When we are talking about Chola rulers, in Chola time frame, there were bronze images were made. They are really beautiful. Chola images was most distinctive craft which they had. Chola bronze images were considered amongst the finest in the world, and most of the times we see these images were made of god and goddesses, and very often we see there are some images of devotees as well, which is quite strange, but yes, at times we do see that as well. So as we are saying that Chola dynasty rose to power, they became very powerful, but one thing was very important for them to rise to power was agriculture, because whatever money king get is from peasants, and Indian economy at that time 70 to 80% was dependent on agriculture only. So we cannot ignore the agricultural point of view. Chola reached to this highest position due to development in agriculture. Land near Kaveri Delta was very fertile and had necessary moisture for rice cultivation. In many areas, forest was cleared for cultivation, land was leveled in the area. In Delta region, embankments were built to stop flooding because Delta region is very close to river. So when there is a rainy season, there are more chances of floods. So they used to build huge embankments to stop any kinds of flood. Agriculture, although agriculture had developed in other parts of Tamil Nadu, it was only from 5th to 6th century that area was opened up for large scale of cultivation. Why? Because forest had to be cleared, land was leveled, and many times we see there were two crops grown in a particular region. In many cases, it was necessary to water crops artificially. Canals were constructed, We see in Chola time they have built so many canals to carry water from one region to other. They built huge tanks, and region 2 crops were grown in a year. A variety of irrigation methods were used, like wells were dug, huge tanks were constructed. All these things were done to improve the agriculture. All these things were done to improve irrigation. Irrigation is improved, which ensured improved agriculture. Improved agriculture resulted in more tax, and the more tax resulted in prosperity and wealth of the kingdom. So Chola paid great attention towards irrigation and agriculture, and that was the main reason of their prosperity. So children, that's all for today, and tomorrow's lecture will discuss about the administration of empire, and that will be the last lecture, and we'll discuss question answers as well, right? That's all for today. Thank you.